Welcome to REunite, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come to our panel discussion on how to save 62 days a year using side systems and processes. My name is Manny Solis, Business Manager Extraordinaire to the Superstar Realtors. That's you all. I am joined by my amazing colleague, Joe Flanagan.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for attending today. Joe Flanagan on the Agent Success team. My job is to make sure all of our associate partners are understanding and realizing the value from the site ecosystem. So I'm super excited that you're all here today. I've been here at Site for 2.5 years now, and it's been amazing to see some of this growth. I cannot wait to help you guys all grow. I'd love to turn it over to the panelists for a quick introduction. Who you are, what team you're on, and what role you have.
I'll start. Hey, everyone. It's so nice to see all these new faces. It's so exciting. I've been with Side for 4 years now, so anybody that can do that math, I was one of the original founding partners, and I'm actually a local here in Napa. I live 6 minutes away, so I had no excuse that I was late this morning. And I lead a team, Level Up Realty here. We do about 150 million in sales volume for about 300 transactions per year.
Hello, everyone. Look forward to meeting all of you guys later tonight. My name is Vic Tran. I'm with Ascend Real Estate. We've been with Side since close to the beginning, about 5 years in. And as an associate agent, I joined along with them right kind of at launch. So I got to see all the pitfalls that we've gone through and all the growth that we've made. And I'm really excited to see what's ahead for us.
Your fan club.
Why didn't you guys clap for me?
It is afternoon. Hi, I'm Deanna Whipp. I'm with Bayside Real Estate Partners. We're based in Manhattan Beach, California. That's in just south of LAX in Los Angeles. We service the beach cities down there. I have a team of 34 now. We started with 8 2.5 years ago when we came to Side. And we are producing this year about 400 million amongst us, but we also live at the beach. So, but this is amazing. I'm not surprised at the growth in this room. It's really great to see everything that's happened here, and we're really excited to be able to share.
This is the size of one of the forums that I originally came to.
Yeah.
So now look at this, just one track.
But it's not a shocker, because
not a shocker
it's
at all,
the
yeah.
smart people in the room, so yeah.
Awesome. Well, if it's okay with everybody, we'll dive right into the topics. Discussing the Side app. Vic, we know agents utilize the Side app quite a bit, have quite a bit of questions, but business managers are often, we're often a little bit too busy at times to, assist with, the needs of our realtors. But in those cases, how can agents utilize the Side app to get their questions answered?
Yeah, definitely. The Intercom system that we have, I don't know if everybody in the room has utilized it to its full potential, but just knowing that somebody's always there accessible to you at most hours. I believe we've also increased our hours now, but there's definitely been times where I'm in the middle of writing an offer on a home, and either the app is not functioning correctly or something's just going wrong. Just being able to know that you can reach out on the intercom, get response from somebody. Sometimes you just want to get help from anybody, like just to solve any kind of problem that's out there. Just always having that response being easily accessible and being able to rely on that. It's hard to find that kind of like service, that quick response time from any other kind of companies that I've worked with before.
Yeah, for sure. And so, we may have all heard from Jay yesterday, our intercom hours have expanded, right? Now it's going to be 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific time. So we're going to be covering our Floridian agents, which is great. So now you have support 7 days a week, 5 a.m. Pacific to 8 p.m. It's going to be great.
Awesome. Vic, as well, we know agents are, quite a bit in the field, working, and building stronger relationships with their sphere of influence, working with clients.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You have kind of a bit of an interesting story on how the Side app helped you in a bit of a tight situation. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. So definitely with the Side app, in terms of like the most value I get out of using the Side app is the fact that I'm able to be productive, but also able to be present in what I'm doing. So a lot of my business is from my sphere is referral based, and me being present in those moments where I'm sharing time with my friends and family is super important to me. And without the side app, I wouldn't have been able to like get to where I am now. The story I have to share is I was actually the best man to one of my best friend's weddings just a few weeks ago. And knowing that the wedding was coming up, I cleared out my schedule, made sure I had no appointments to show houses or anything like that. But on a whim, of course, in our industry, that's usually how it goes. A client of mine wanted to submit an offer on that Saturday, and you can imagine all the difficulties that can come with that. Because as the best man of the wedding, I was in charge of timekeeping, keeping us on schedule, doing like wedding dance, doing best man speeches, taking photos, taking shots for the groom, dealing with all that. I was able to basically prepare the whole offer, submit it, found out that they were in a counter situation, and we're going through counters while I'm like basically giving my speech on the stage. But the most valuable part, and the part that made me feel the best about where I was, being a part of Side, is that not a single person at the wedding knew that I was writing my offer or working at the time that I was doing it. Not needing to have my laptop out, not needing to find Wi-Fi, go off in a corner and work. The whole time I was there, I was present. I got to be around my friends, share their important moment with them, and got the offer, and we got the place. So,
It's a pretty good day.
It's a credit to Side.
Not so bad. So one of the most important. Sorry, Deanna. Go
Say
ahead.
you hold the app up like this, and it looks like you're posting to the gram instead of writing offers. Yeah.
For sure. One of the most important parts that where we can help save you time is to be able to work with Side when you're ready to work. If you're out in a wedding, you can work, and no one will know. It's very visible in the background, right? So you didn't get yelled at, it sounds like, from the...
No, I was still able to be the best man at the wedding instead of being the worst man or the maid of dishonor,
Best man, best agent. It was a good wedding for you.
Awesome. Going into business services, we know that business services is broken down in several areas. Nicole, we know that you utilize this listening services quite a bit. How does the listening services help you save time on a weekly and monthly basis?
Well, I think when we prepped for this, I mentioned that not only has it saved me time, but I was able to replace 2 of my marketing staff with the app, which speaks, leaps. It took me leaps and bounds in my business to be able to take a virtual assistant and plug and play them to where I have 24-hour coverage with 2 virtual assistants, which was, a quarter of the cost of 2 full-time salaried employees, just because it is a click, submit versus more of a creative person that has to be involved. So being able to just have an Asana task list of things that they check off, and they go in and they request it, and it's 24 to 48 hour turn time, not only saves us time, but it's also saved me a lot in salary.
For sure. Deanna, I know that you also you have an internal creative person, right?
Yes.
So can you talk to me about how you've been utilizing the marketing services to to be beneficial to your agents as well as your creative person?
Yeah, at Bayside, we're a little weird. We have like 9 team brands, so my creative director is like always changing hats. It's really, he's amazing. But to support him, instead of overloading him with a lot of the minutia of the marketing, the agents are all totally loaded and ready to go with templates that are branded to them, that are custom. He designed them. We put them in the app, and they can, at a moment, they could be at an open house and like make a just listed postcard and get it ready and send it off, and they can do it themselves. We're all about empowering, not enabling, where we are, and it's lifeblood to making sure that my graphic designer is doing his best work. Mm-hmm. So it frees him up from that to do like the really powerful stuff, like the really special projects and things like that. So it's the best use of our funds to put him in the best place.
Yeah, I love the fact that you're using the custom templates as well. So definitely, if you have a template you want to use, send that over to your business manager. we'll send that over to Creative and potentially open up a custom project for you.
I'm so excited about what they talked about on the yesterday.
Oh yeah, it'll be good.
That's going to be really great.
Vic, we know that you utilize the listening services and it empowers you in your process. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so similar to what Nicole had mentioned, just having an Asana checklist. So right when the listing is signed, we go through a checklist. Me, myself, actually, I'll put out on the Google Calendar kind of the tentative timeline of what we're going to be doing, staging, photos, cleaning, et cetera. And then from there, I'll go back into the app and basically on that same day, preload all the drafts of having the sign installer, inspectors, just going through that workflow and having that ready. Some of them I'll submit like right then, and some of them as it gets closer, like I'll kind of adjust accordingly. But just being able to use that, I kind of just use that side app as the task, like a task list of like what I'm going to be needing to do. And since it's already preloaded with all the information I want to have in there, I could be out working or out with friends and family and spending that time. But when I know like, oh, this is ready to go, I'm ready to submit it now, I could just pop it open, click hit, and it's off and running.
I'm curious to see how you both, you may have come about this different ways, but how you both created that process that you need to do each time. Because that, I imagine you spent a little bit of time up front to develop that list, and now you don't need to think about all these things that you need to do and remember them each time. So how did you come up with these processes? So everyone can build their own processes this afternoon.
So we actually made it a team building activity. So we got together with this was pre-COVID, so we actually got together with a big whiteboard, and we had our admin team there, we had our marketing services team there, we had our salespeople there, and we went around and we took the escrow process from the very beginning, like a lead comes in, and took it all the way through follow-up. So not just close of escrow, but even beyond that. And we took it down very, very granular and said, what happens in this process? And we didn't just stop there. We said, well, when you have to order photos, what else goes into that? It's a email template to the client to say, here's how you prep your home for photos. It's a phone call that our marketing manager makes to the client, letting them know that the photos are scheduled, with a follow-up email to the client, reminding them about the phone call, right? So we took it very, very, very granular to where we took everything on that whiteboard and made it an Asana task with subtasks as well. So I would, if everyone's going to do that, I would say get your entire team involved, because sometimes one task, 3 people are touching. So you want to get their input on what the best process and the best practice for their part of that task is.
Vic, do you have a different experience?
Yeah, it's pretty similar, but I don't have as much involvement as an associate agent. But credit to Stephen Huang and Dan Risman-Jones on the Ascend team that I leaned into their experience, and they had their system ready to go, and it's easy to use and just pick up.
It's perfect.
Awesome. The next topic that we're going to be talking about is CRMs. CRMs can often
Everyone's favorite topic here.
everyone's favorite topic. Everyone often utilizes a different CRM for their team's needs. Nicole, we all know that you're a CRM guru. Regardless of what CRM an individual or a partner team is utilizing, what are some of the best practices that have helped you save time?
So I always say the best CRM is the CRM that you will use. I don't care if it is a notebook, a spreadsheet, something that you pay $3,000 a month for. If you are going to use it, that's the best one that works for you. Personally, I'm a huge adopter of Sync, Commissions Inc. I know there's a few Boomtown users in the room that I recognize. Those two are probably my favorite if you run a team, especially a highly sales-driven team, just because of the lead management and lead flow and automations associated with that. But I would say that, again, any CRM that you use is the best one for you, but let the CRM really be your brain. I'm normally like a hot mess. I'm pregnant right now, so I'm more of a hot mess. I have baby brain, and I can't remember anything. I don't remember people's names. I don't even remember if I'm wearing the right shoes today. I can look down and probably mismatched, right? Mismatched. But the CRM and the Asana tasks list and things like that are what keep me going, and I let the CRM be my brain. I might not remember the 17 clients that have active listings right now, but all I have to do is go into my CRM, and it tells me exactly where they are in the process, what my tasks are for that day, what the follow-up is for them, where they are in the process, what their list state is. So I'm using it almost as my second brain, which is actually better than my first brain. So just use it, anything that you do use, that's going to be the best CRM for you.
What do you think the best feature to our CRM would be? Would that be, being able to filter by, different audience subsets, or tagging people? How do you use your CRM?
I have a very sales-driven team, so I think that everyone should look at what's best for them if they're doing CRM selection, and don't just look at one and go buy it. Look at all of the different ones, and there's large team CRMs, mid-sized team CRMs, small team CRMs. If you have a highly sales-driven team, people who prospect are on the phones, who are dialing for dollars, so to speak, I would say, the filtering and the reminder calls are important. But if you're more lead by referral, you've got the Buffini mentality, and that's kind of how you drive your business. I would say that the follow-up and making sure that you can tag anniversaries and birthdays and dogs' names and cats' names and things like that would probably be most important for you.
For sure. So it's not really saving you necessarily hours and day, but it's making sure you remember these people with a single button click. That way you can have a really deep conversation with them. I really do love that.
I think it does save a lot of hours and time, because especially if you're doing, I don't know how many people are doing Workman, but Workman is actually built in to continue.
Love Workman.
Me too, which is in your side app, if you don't know that.
Laurel is here.
But there's a concept there that's built into your perfect week, and if you're following your week the way it should go, and then you're plugging in your time to work on your CRM the way you should, and then your CRM is doing the things for you that it needs to do to make that time efficient, it definitely is a time saver. You're following those steps and you're staying right there. So it's all part and parcel, I think, of following that system. And yes, you're right. Any CRM that you're using is, if you're using it, it's your best CRM. But on another point, I want to push that too much, but we actually...
Are there any Workman clients in the room?
Yeah, how many Workman
Okay, there's
clients?
a few. Okay. So literally of your 61 points, your CRM can do 30 of them a day for you.
And in the continue thing, there's a whole module on... if you haven't even used a CRM yet, just using something as simple as your lead tracker, if you guys haven't been aware of that or aren't used to it yet, it's a really great way to train your brain to really utilize a CRM, and it keeps it in front of you, and you're working your leads up through a system, and you're being honest with yourself, which is the best part. But that piece of it you can then roll into your CRM process, which I think it's a great tool, especially for anybody new to Teams or anybody thinking about a CRM. But it's definitely helped us, for sure.
And it's great, you're both right. The best CRM is the one you're going to use. That's the reason why we opened that API up, right? So as long as we know what CRM you're using, just let your business manager know, and we'll develop a process for you, okay?
Wonderful. The last topic that we're going to be talking about is digital CMAs. Deanna, you are an expert when it comes to developing, CMAs, whether that's on MoxieWorks, MoxiePercent. Walk us through your process, and ultimately, how does this, save you time?
Oh, no. I think Moxie is my favorite thing. If anybody has any Moxie questions, you just come ask me. I'll help you. It's easy.
Or that Moxie.
Does everybody know what Moxie is? Yes. Okay. Are you using it? Okay, great. So we actually, as a team, we've explored it to its nth degree, and we use it for everything. We've got smaller modules now that we build, and we'll build a single template for something like a point in your Zillow follow-up schedule where you're like, I'm on, follow-up point number 3, and this is what that needs to be. And so they'll build it in Moxie, and it'll be a little presentation. It might have a video in it because you can customize everything, which is really cool. You can bring in custom PDFs. You can do a great little micro presentation on a topic, and you can kick that out via text or an email to somebody, and it's super impressive right off the bat. People meet, we're a Flex partner now, and they're going out there and they're meeting people for the first time that have no idea you from Adam. They say hello to them on a video text real quick, then they turn around and they hit them with a MoxiePercent little micro presentation about who they are and what their brokerage is, and they constantly get feedback that's like, wow, you guys, wow, that's impressive. I really want to work with you, and it's instant. So you spend a little time in Moxie creating those very targeted little micro presentations, and it can go so far.
So where should people even start with Moxie? Because that was a lot of
on those, they start on a no template. They just start on no template.
That's literally what it's called, is no template.
It's called no template. Yeah. no template. And then it's a blank slate, so you really can just take it from there. And what we've done is we've put a ton of, I call them file drawers. They're actually folders, but I name them file drawers. So like you could go to this file drawer and pull this piece out and say, oh, I want that in my presentation. And go to this file drawer and say, oh, I'll take this piece out and put that in my presentation. So it's all I have 556 preloaded custom pieces in there. And we've taken it from things like Homelight and Zillow, and they're already out there. You don't have to invent them. You download them into your system, you bring them into Moxie, and you leave them in the file drawers. And then when somebody needs to go and do a presentation, they just, ooh, I want that, oh, I want that. They bring it all in, and they can put a really stellar thing together in like 10 minutes.
And your agents are doing this.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't
so
do it.
You're right, because the agents know their clients the best, so they can cater that presentation to the person that they know, right?
It's really impressive.
Which ties back into the CRM, because you'll know your contact from all the tags you use in your CRM, right? So it all plays together, I think.
Right. So if you're like, I'm working on an open house follow-up, and this person had a particular thing, like they didn't know how to get their down payment money put together. So I've got a down payment how-to, already preset in Moxie that may not have a person's name on it. It's just, titled something general. They don't have to rethink it, reinvent it. They just go grab it, send it out. And it's really empowering and time-saving.
How much time do you think that actually takes?
Seconds.
Seconds.
Yeah. I mean, if it's there and they're ready to go, they just grab the link and send it off, and it's an instant presentation that looks like you spent hours on it, which is, that's the part that really wows them. Yeah.
I had actually wanted to ask, because when we talked about Moxie and your usage of it, you mentioned, because it wasn't limited to just like the listing side, because
Right.
like you had so many tools to use for the buy side as well, right?
Yeah, and that goes like a lot with the Zillow program, which Zillow just feeds into your whole follow-up system. If you learn on Zillow, it affects your open house follow-up system, your referral follow-up system, all of it. So the one feeds the other. But yes, you can. They do a lot of. They're really getting much better at doing like videos in their neighborhoods, and so they're not perfect. They're imperfect. Everybody's kind of learning that that's okay. So they'll make these cute videos about the neighborhoods, and then they'll load them in, and it's like, "Hi, I'm your neighbor, torrent expert, and this is why you need to work with me." And it's like so instantaneous, and it shows up on the phone, and people are engaged, and they're like, "Okay, you versus the next guy meeting you at after a Zillow appointment, meeting the next guy that's like, hi, I'm following up with you. Do you want to buy a house?" It's like night and day. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nicole, Vic, Deanna. Thank you so much for talking about these a variety of topics. Let's go into some audience
Well,
questions.
actually, before we do that, I actually want to talk about community, because I think the community at large can save you tons of time. And we have an only growing community. If you saw our past forum in person, I mean, this was it. We had this many people. Now we just have this many people in the breakout room. So, Nicole, can you talk about Facebook Workplace? I know that everyone here is on Workplace. The notifications might be a little noisy, but you use Workplace quite a bit. Can you talk about how you use the side community to help you save time?
Yeah, I love Workplace. I hated it at first, I have to be honest. I was like, this is so lame. They think that anybody's going to use this. Like, what are they thinking? It feels like I'm my grandma's Facebook, right? But then I learned that there's so many people on it, and even if they're not engaging, they're looking at what I'm posting. So now if I need anything that I can't get from my team or my admin staff, I post it to Workplace. I actually just recently went in and joined a bunch of groups. Like, sorry if I joined your private group, but I was like, I need to be in all of these groups because, I might need an arborist that specializes in protected wild oaks. And, Deanna might know somebody, and they may be in Torrance, but I need them here in Napa, but I guarantee you that they're in a networking group with other arborists that specialize in rare protected wild oaks. So when you have that really rare need, or even any need at all, I would say go to Workplace. Also, I can tell you exactly how much GCI we've made from Workplace alone. When I need a referral, I want to get on there first and make sure that I can refer out to local or to other side partners. And also, I've got the alert set up to where if someone's referring in Napa or Sonoma or Solano County, that I get tagged. Deanna just told me just a couple minutes ago, hey, I tagged you on Workplace, just yesterday. Did you see that? So make sure you're on Workplace. It might be a little hard to adopt at first, especially if you're, used to the tweets and the Instagramming and all of that. It might feel like you're taking a little bit of a step back, but it really is a powerful tool once you adopt it. It's kind of like everything. There's just a little learning curve.
It's great. And speaking of community, we can also take your individual team communities, right? Vic, so talk to me about Ascend and how you meet, because you have a whole fan club over there, empowering you. So how do you meet as a team to help each other save time?
Yeah. So not including.
Well, do you have do you have team meetings?
Yeah. So we go through several meetings in a week. So we meet on Mondays for a normal sales meeting, recapping the open houses over the weekend. Also, what we have transactionally that's going on. We do use that time as well to kind of go over like open discussion and like scenarios of obstacles we're facing during the transaction, and just leaning on that kind of resource, leaning on our partners' experience, like wealth of experience, is just so invaluable. And then we still have our Wednesday San Francisco side meetings where we all get together and kind of just see what's going on in the market. Like, that's practically priceless. Like, you can't put a dollar value on that in terms of just getting feedback on, oh, how are your open houses going? Like, are we getting good foot traffic? How many offers are you getting? Like, yeah, it's all really important information, and I love the side community for that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, communication is key. As long as you communicate a challenge you're facing, side can usually help come up with some sort of way to overcome that obstacle, clear that frustration out. So communicate. Communicate with your teams, communicate with side via Facebook, communicate with your business manager. There is no shortage of places you can go.
There's two things on that side app that I don't think we touched on, and one of them I just wanted to share with anybody, especially anybody who's got team growth or any kind of expansion. One of the coolest things to do when you get somebody new in the office is you bring them in, you sit them down, and you go onto the intercom, and you're like, hey, intercom people. And they're like, what's up, Deanna? And you're like, I'm sitting here showing that you're a real life person, and you're going to say, you're going to handle this problem. They're like, oh, yeah, what do you need? And my agents will be sitting there like, wow. And they do. They go on themselves. It's all about that empower, not enable. They know what to do. They know where to go. When you start having 34 to 40 people and you have to handle all that, and they're there and they help and they will go find the answer if they don't know it, which is really important.
Yeah, for sure. We might not always know the answer, but we'll always get it answered.
Yeah, and then the other piece of it is if you're managing a team or you're a team leader, you're on a team, and the fact that your team people can jump in there and help you with things. Like I can be on the road, pull up something and literally help somebody redraft some terminology or something like that, and they're like, how are you doing that? And I'm like, I'm tapped in,
On the app, yeah.
And it gets done, and it's gone, and there it goes. It's off to, where it needs to go, and the deal can happen. So it's not like I have to run back to my desk like I used to, and that enables me to have a much better balanced life and help everybody else and still be there.
Yeah, it sounds so great. It sounds like you put a little bit of investment of time up front, and that unlocks a ton of time later on.
There's so many great tools. We don't have enough time.
Yeah, we don't have the time. We're actually out of time now.
Yeah. Joe, talking about Intercom, it recently just got extended hours. What are those hours, by the way?
Again, 5 to 8, 5 a.m. Pacific to 8 p.m. Pacific. So now we're going to cover those Floridian and Texan agents. It's going to be great.
Awesome. I think we ran the gauntlet on the variety of questions. Are we ready for audience questions,
I think
by the way?
so. I'm going to use this mic. Hopefully you're all good with that. Anyone have any questions for our audience? Hands. So again, we covered the side app, we covered CRM and Moxie.
I got a question for Deanna. Is there a way we can maybe get like at least some sort of list of your top things that you use in Moxie for templates?
Yes, actually, my email is Deanna, D-E-A-N-N-A, @baysidebrokers.com. I love helping. Part of what makes Side so great is that I lean into others, they lean into me, and we help and collaborate. And so if you've got any Moxie questions, please ask. And if I can't get you right away, I will help you. But yes, I will draft that out and send it off.
And I'm meeting with her later this week, so that time is reserved.
Can you guys record that meeting?
Who builds
On
those,
Zoom.
Deanna, who builds those initial pages that your agents are using? Would that be you?
Who built them?
Yeah, who builds the pages that the agents are pulling from?
That
Oh,
graphic designer that I need
Oh, right.
off of all that other stuff. So that's where the marketing piece comes in handy, because it helps me loosen him up to do some, and that's if I can't find it already. I mean, oh my gosh, do you guys use Keeping Current Matters? Yeah. Okay, so like there's so much content in there, and if you don't want to just use what they have and just download it and put it in Moxie, you can copy, put it in, you could put it in Canva and make it your own. If you get really savvy, you can do that, but like there's a lot that you can do very quickly to load those pages in there to make something really special. If you're super anal like I am, you want everything to match, you're going to bother your graphic designer with it, but if you're, you don't have to, and I tell my agents that all the time. It's okay not to have every single page be exactly the same. You're delivering information. And so when you're doing your follow-up systems and you're hitting the nail on the head with, like I met this person on Zillow and I haven't talked to them in 10 days and I'm sending something else out, you're always sending something of value. So if you got this like folder of every micro presentation to send, you don't have to rethink it because you already made it and you're just plugging and playing.
So as long as the content is valuable, the visuals. Yeah.
That's what people want. They want to be taught. They want to know what you know. And so the more you share that, the more they're likely to engage with you.
Yeah. Agreed. Any other questions in the crowd? Yeah.
I had a question. What was the CRM you mentioned again, Nicole?
Commissions Inc.
Commissions
By
Inc.
Sync. It's
And
owned by Fidelity and Boomtown.
Okay.
If you run a large sales-driven team, I recommend those two.
Okay. Commissions Inc. and I'm sorry,
Boomtown.
Boomtown. Got it. And why, if I may ask, if just like kind of highlights?
Yeah, so those two, I would say they're the biggest large team CRMs out there, and they're very sales-driven, sales-focused with drips and follow-ups, and they help mostly with conversion and high-volume lead management. We get about 200 to 250 leads per month, so you can imagine that's a lot of leads to manage. So they're all funneled into that CRM, and based on the tagging system or the contacted status, they go on to automatic drips, and so that's the what we mostly use our CRM for is helping with sales conversion.
It's important, it's great that we have all this open API now for the CRM, because as we've said, the most important CRM is the one you're going to use. So always let your business manager know what you're going to be using and how you're going to be using it so he can advise you on strategy.
And I know that there are a lot of partners out there that use CRMs. Sync, I know we've got some Sync adopters, a lot of Boomtown adopters. So go on Workplace, and if you're thinking about adding a CRM, ask for some feedback, because there's a lot of them that do integrate with Side App. There's a lot of them that integrate with Follow-Up Boss. There's ones that integrate with things that you're probably already using. So before you go out and have to start with 100 to narrow it down to your top 3, have the partner community help you out with that first.
That's a great point. So don't wait for our next forum to ask these questions again. Go to Facebook Workplace and just ask.
Because everybody's there to help.
Everyone's there. We're all of us there.
Joe, we have a question over here.
Go ahead.
There used to be a feature on the app that was the listing report that would automatically update, after a
They
weekend.
killed it.
I know. So
It's there.
It's been very.
It's there. They
It
moved
is there.
Well, the manual one is really time consuming. So I just was wondering if you guys have found anything that makes it.
So they killed it because Realtor.com and Redfin don't feed directly. They shut their APIs down. So it was really hard for them to get the automatic feeds. What we did is we actually took that template, uploaded it to Canva, branded it, and made it an editable PDF. So each week for our weekly sales update calls to our prospects, active clients, and pending clients, we plug those numbers in manually. I actually have a VA that does it. So she hearts, favorites, whatever you call it, on those specific websites, Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, and we plug those numbers in directly along with our screenshot from the email blast that we send out.
Okay. I've been doing this for 18 years, trying to find the best report. There isn't a best report. It's your report. So as much as we try.
Clients just love that you're sending them something on a weekly basis.
They just want to hear from you.
There isn't one yet, but I'm sure Side will come up with it and
Oh,
put
absolutely.
the time and resources
We have all those
into it.
engineers now.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
Yep.
Hi, Noel Flores from Sonoma County, new founder of Continuum Real Estate. So the question's for all 3 of you. Who schedules your appointments?
Schedules your appointment?
I don't go on appointments, thank God.
Schedules your appointment? No, my agents, my team structure is a little bit different. I have like 9 team leads, and they all run their sub-teams, and so each one of them does it slightly differently. Some of them have assistants that do that. Some of it do them themselves. A lot of it do them themselves because they're running their My Perfect Week, so they know what their schedule is, so they plug in their
That's a
showings.
workman thing.
It is a workman thing, and it works.
Yeah, on our team, we do kind of operate a little bit more independently from each other, so we do our own kind of scheduling tasks.
If you're looking for a more straightforward answer on, how you can manage your calendar, I recommend hiring a VA. I have a VA that checks my email. I haven't even checked my email in 2 days. She checks my email and she manages my calendar. So she puts things on my calendar and she pushes them to me. So I don't even know what I'm doing from day to day. She sends me a daily text that says, this is what you're doing today. This is where you need to show up. She actually preloads any directions in my GPS that I need. So I literally just get in my car and go.
That's brilliant.
So VAs, virtual assistants, I'm sure this is an important topic. So at every point in someone's career, you're going to be like, I don't have the time to do this. So Nicole, can you talk about how you would start to explore getting a virtual assistant?
So if you don't have the time to do something, that just means that you need a system, a tool, or a person. And if you have a system or a tool, you probably need that person to run that system or tool for you. So as you guys can tell, I'm pretty hands-off in my business right now. I'm more of the rainmaker. I'm more in a role, thanks to, I don't know if Brett Jennings is in the room, but he's been my idol since I met him, and he's really helped me, take my business to the next level and put more time in my day, not more money in my pocket, because that's what was most important to me. And so if you have a problem, you have a pain, it's probably because you need a tool, a system, or a person. So if you're looking to hire, you need to find out if it's a boots on the ground person or a VA. I have 3 full-time VAs. They work 24-hour shifts, so I've always got someone covering something. And I can tell you it's very affordable to hire a VA. And I know there's some people that have expressed interest in sharing VAs, so if you're not quite there for a full-time person, post to Workplace and see who's looking to share a VA.
I wanted to ask, how do you build that trust in your VA to know that how they're scheduling you?
Trust no one. Ever. I made that mistake early on in my business. You trust no one with your business. It's like your baby. You don't trust anybody with your baby. You don't trust anybody with your business. You give them, again, the tools and the resources, and you be able to make sure that you can push a button and revoke that at any time.
Where did you find your VA?
She said, where did you find your VA? I used My Outdesk. I actually am in a mastermind group as well that uses a VA recruiter that they've had a lot of success with. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to make introductions.
Yeah, on Workplace.
And by the way, My Outdesk does pay referral fees to me, and I pass that back to whoever I refer to for your first month. So not just a plug.
Any additional questions? Oh, we do.
Do we have any on that side?
Hi. So for your checklist, how long did it take you guys to actually build it up, and what are some tips and tricks to make it more efficient?
Took me a week in Cabo. I'm not
Everyone go to
kidding.
Cabo.
I took a vacation to build out my Asana checklist. It took me exactly 1 week in Cabo, but I can tell you it's ever changing. When open houses went away, we lost a whole checklist. That whole checklist was replaced with something else. Then when virtual open houses became a thing, we had to create a virtual open house checklist. So it's ever evolving. You find that there's something new in the marketplace. There's a new form. There's a new portion of the RPA. There's a new something that you implement. There's a new Moxie file cabinet that you add. That then goes in your template. Anything that you do more than twice, you need to create a system for.
On checklists, I actually wanted to plug something I'll be doing later at the Genius Bar. It's called Agent Success Checklists. It's an entire side ecosystem, so that might be an interesting place to start. Do we have a question over on the side? Nope.
Vic, were you going to say something?
In terms of the checklist, in terms of actual time, when you meet with your team and kind of come up with it, I think within 1 or 2 sessions of sitting down talking about what you want to have done and what you want to have automated, it's easy to like kind of task those things out. So really doesn't take too long.
It's self-preservation too.
Yep.
You you sit down and you do it once on a Saturday, and from there you micro tweak it, and it's not like you're spending hours and hours and hours doing it. You're just taking it from here and putting it in a place where it can be shared and replicated.
How frequently are you guys meeting with your team as a group meetings, and what do those kind of look like? Just to, what do you find that's most important?
I meet with my admin team on Mondays and Thursdays to review the Asana checklist. Before that, they're tasked with a calendar invite to go through and make sure that there's no overdue tasks. If there's overdue tasks, I don't meet with them, and that's on them because they usually need stuff from me to complete their tasks. So it's kind of an accountability thing. We have a weekly sales meeting on Tuesdays, and that's an hour long, and that's with everyone in the group, the team, the admin, the marketing, et cetera. And then on Thursdays, we have our pipelines. So we spend 20 minutes with each individual agent going through their pipeline. And then the follow-up is that they send us the report that we went through, going through every single lead. So they bring their lead tracker, again, the Workman Success, to the meeting. And then once a month, we have we call it a brokerage meeting, where we have everybody on the team come, and we usually have a guest speaker.
Our team meets probably 2 or 3 times a week. Sales meetings, trainings, and kind of open discussions. And then once a month we meet for more of like a social gathering, just to get together. But I find that really effective because it really continues building that community and kind of that family vibe.
Yeah, we do a pretty structured kind of meetings thing, because I have those 9 teams. So with each micro team, they have their meetings, and I sort of like jump in and jump out of those. But then we do kind of a social event every Wednesday night where we kind of like sip and learn. I lure them in with cocktails. Is that legal? Am I good? Okay. And then we do a regular standing big team huddle once a week for an hour. Then I do a workshop on Thursdays for an hour, and I let them pick topics, and we just go through anything they want to workshop. And then Fridays we just bang out Zillow. Like Zillow is its own beast, and you have to deal with that. But it's really actually fun. I think it's those huddles are really good use of time. They really are. It's just managing them.
Thank you. I think we have time for one more question. All right. Well, thank you so much to the panel. We have one?
Hi, you mentioned that you have created a list, a working list on Asana. How do you keep your agents or have them, check off as they go through? Because sometimes they're so busy, maybe they have it done, but then they never check it off or update on Asana.
My agents aren't allowed to touch any kind of checklist. Their job is sales. So if they're doing checklists, they're not doing what they're best at. So we actually have a database management job. So it's a full-time job, and her job is to manage the agent's checklist for them. So in our pipeline, the 20 minutes a week that we sit with them, they know what the things on their checklists are. If they have questions, then they can ask them at that time. But the database administrator is the one updating Flex for them. The database administrator is the one taking stuff from CRM and checking it off in the checklist. And the checklist is there because I need to know that it's getting done, but I want them doing it, not checking it off on a checklist.
Great. Again, well, thank you so much to our panelists. It's been quite wonderful.